Hi guys, thank you for tuning in. Today I'm going to show you guys how I meal prep for our dogs. Some of you that follow me on Snapchat may have seen me do this. I just got into it because our dogs were gaining weight. It was hard to control their weight, even though we did portion control with it. And then we just wanted to give them better food essentially because I know I wouldn't want to eat dry, disgusting food every day. So I decided to get into the meal prep for animals. And actually I was surprised when I started crunching the numbers. It's actually only about $2 more per month to feed our dogs. We have 3 bulldogs, an American bulldog and 2 English bulldogs. And they eat twice a day. So they go through 6 meals a day between the 3 of them. So I do all the shopping at Aldi's, which I'm not sure if you guys have those. I think they're in about 32 states to get the necessities that I need, and it's a great price. And the reason I do this is because a dog's ancestral diet is like a ketogenic diet. It's mainly proteins and fats. So regular dry dog food in the store, even though we bought them a higher end brand or variety of dog food, it was still 55% carbohydrates, which would kind of explain why the dogs weren't ever really losing weight. So, and anybody knows a bulldog, they're roly-poly and they're only 2 years old. So we want to try to get their weight under control now while it's easier for them versus when they're older. So I started doing the meal prep for them, and so far it's been going amazing. It's so easy. And it just takes a little bit of time, a little bit of planning, so it's definitely worth it. So what I use is, and this is gonna make about 80 meals for them. I buy 9 pounds of sweet potatoes, and I'll show you guys all this little scan of it here. But I buy 9 pounds, which is 3 bags of the sweet potatoes. I get 3 5-pound tubs of the 73-27 beef, so there's 27% fat in this, so that helps them get that the fat that they need in their diet. And I go through about 8 bags of frozen peas and 3 bags, which they're 3 pounds, so 9 pounds of the frozen chicken breast. Then I just use some nonstick cooking spray. And then I use a couple seasonings that we bought a while back. I mean, we've had them, I think, probably over a year. We just don't use them, but I just kind of season it up a little bit just to add a little flavor. So what I first do when I start this is I'm sorry, I forgot this. I also use a supplement. I was using Missing Link. It's omega-3 and omega-6, but I just started using this Pinovite. Otis and Charlie both have alopecia on their sides, so if you guys ever see pictures of them and you see the little bald patches, it's seasonal alopecia, and someone saw it on Otis's Instagram page, and yes, our dog has their own Instagram. They saw it on his Instagram page and said that they use this to help their dog, grow their hair back. So I went ahead and gave it a shot. This is gonna be the first time actually I'm opening it today to use it. And then I bought them some fish oil as well. So they're gonna get all their fats, their proteins, and a little bit of carbs with the potatoes. So what I do is I always start with baking the sweet potatoes first and the chicken first. And then you can fry up the ground beef if you want, but I actually found it's easier with that amount, with 15 pounds of beef, instead of having 2 or 3 skillets on the stove. I just actually wait till the chicken's done, take the chicken off the pans, throw the beef on there, kind of break it up a little bit, and I just bake the beef as well. It's a lot easier, it's a lot easier to clean up, and then I just have, a couple pans to wash. So what I do is start with sweet potatoes. And like I said, just use 2 pans here. Got the oven preheated at 450 degrees. I don't worry about, washing these or anything like that. I just kind of dump them on here, spread them out, make a little mess. And then these only take, I let them cook for about a half an hour because they're pretty small, so they don't take too long. And if they're not fully cooked through, it's, the dogs aren't gonna yell at me, so it's okay. Just kind of spread those out. All right, so then I'll pop these in the oven, like I said, for about a half an hour. And then for our chicken breast, I'm going to spray just some regular baking sheets, and I'm just using all regular baking sheets. You can foil line them if you want for a little bit easier cleanup, but actually the cleanup's not too bad on these. So spray with some nonstick spray. Man, these scissors are shit. All right. Very delicate, can't you tell? And I'll put this list, little grocery list up on my website, goodhomeandhealth.com. I'll put that up there for you guys if you want to go, if you didn't catch it when I first did it. That way you guys can write it down if you want to go for your animals. And all this food here cost me about $50. So that's, like I said, for 3 of our dogs. And obviously your portions are going to change depending upon if you have a little dog, big dog, how many dogs you have. But this is for 3 dogs with a combined weight of about 200 pounds. So it's going to last them a couple weeks. And then when I have the chicken laid out on the pan, I just spray it with nonstick cooking spray just to help the seasoning stick to it. The seasoning's optional, but I like it because I hate wasting stuff. And this makes it taste better for the dogs, and it makes them feel better. I'm not throwing it away. So, and I just sprinkle it on there. Because when this is done baking, I let it cool down, and then I actually run it through a food processor to kind of shred it up. And you can do that, or you can, just chunk it up for your dogs if you like. Now, if you don't, I have a double oven. If you guys don't have a double oven, you can obviously, do this in one thing at a time. And I just like to do it usually, it's a rainy day outside, I've got some work to do, and it's easy for me to get my work done while I'm rotating the pans in and out of the oven, because by the time I have my work done, all the food's done, and then it's time to assemble the meals. And I actually put them all in, I just buy like the cheap Ziploc bags at Aldi or the dollar store, and that's how I, portion out their bags for them. So it's really not that bad. I mean, you can clean your house while you're waiting for it in the oven, or, whatever you have to do. All right, so they're done. So like I said, we're gonna put these in the oven. I'm gonna put the chicken in at 425 for about 20 minutes because I don't fully cook the meat. It's a little bit undercooked, that's totally fine. The dogs can process that very easally. So I'll put these in there for about 20 minutes, and the potatoes, like I said, about a half an hour. So we're gonna do that, and then I'll come back and show you guys what's next. All right guys, so it's been 30 minutes. I've got the potatoes back here, they're done. And the chicken was done, like I said, I put it in there for about 20 minutes. So it's all done. So then when it comes out, I just take a big bowl, and I'm gonna put all the chicken into this bowl because I'm going to reuse the baking sheets for the beef. So you can see all the liquid and everything that's on this pan, and that's totally fine because the puppies aren't gonna care, so. Then, like I said earlier, I let this chicken cool down quite a bit because it seems to process a little better in the food processor and shred it up, making it easier for them to eat. When it's cooler, when it's real fresh like that and it's real moist, what happens is sometimes it can kind of get clumpy in the food processor, so I let it cool a lot. So then when I take with these juices, you can leave them on there, but sometimes I'll just take them and dump them into the bowl and let the chicken kind of absorb that. All right, sorry to go off camera a little bit here. All right, so then we have our pan. I have the stove, the oven. I reset it to 325, and it's already hot and ready to go. Then we're just gonna add in our beef. And like I said, I just kind of clump this up. I don't cut it into patties or anything like that. And then that way when it comes out, I can kind of break it up a little bit easier then, so. And you can pack it pretty tight on here. I'm gonna try to get all 15 pounds on this one tray. And so we're gonna bake this for about 20 minutes as well. So the meat, I do about 20 minutes. Potatoes I do for 30. This is the weirdest way to package meat, I think. Those scissors suck, and I forgot. So then what I'll do is I'll use our other seasoning that I showed you guys to season this. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm gonna have to lower the camera down a little bit. I changed it when I took a break. I've got this sucker full. All right, let me wash my hands real quick and then I'll show you guys this. All right, can you guys see this a little more? And this is some fatty meat. I just went to wash my hands, and any of you girls that ever had a paraffin wax dip on your hands, or guys too, that's exactly what it feels like. My hands were just coated with the fat off of this meat, but it's gonna be good for the dogs. So I'm just gonna use another seasoning that we had lying around and just season this up a little bit. And we're gonna pop this in 325 for 30 minutes. And I'm gonna get back to doing some work, and I got some laundry to do, so while that cooks. And then when this is done, I'm gonna show you guys how we do the assembly of all the meals. So it's pretty quick and easy. About 5 or 6 minutes left on the ground beef. So I'm gonna go ahead and start chopping up the potatoes. I just chopped these up into little cubes, not too small. Just something that's easy for them to eat. And I just continue to do that to the whole batch until I have all of them diced up. So I'll do that. And then what I do is, and I'm sorry, I can't see this. You can't see this. Just put them in a bowl. Makes them easier because that way whenever I actually pack the meals, I just kind of have a little assembly line for it. Makes it so much easier. Then in another bowl, I just open up our bags of frozen peas that I just let set out to thaw. And I just dump all those in a bag. Because I just use a measuring cup and go through when I fill these up. So I'm just gonna dump all the peas out. And then when our beef is done, we'll go ahead and get that chicken ground up. And then we will start packing these meals. All right guys, the beef is done. I got it sitting back behind me. There's lots of fat in it, so you gotta be careful when you take it out of the oven so you don't spill it. And then what I like to use is, I call it the meat masher. I've had this thing for like 10 years. You guys can see how this works. They sell them like Bed Bath & Beyond. It's like a windmill or pinwheel, whatever you call it. And you just, push down on the meat like that, and it helps to break it all up. So you saw me putting it in big clumps on the pan. Well, now I go back through with this thing and just kind of break it up. And I do that while it's sitting here. That way, it helps to break that meat up, and then, can you guys see Ellie down here? It helps to break that meat up, and then the meat will absorb those fats and juices that cooked out of it in the cooking process. And it's still pretty red. Like I said, I only cooked this for 20 minutes. So we're just gonna give this a little time to soak up that fat. She's excited. If you make this, your dogs are going to freak out, because our dogs, when they see a Ziploc bag now, they freak because they know that's what their food's in. So it's pretty funny. Like, you can't get a regular Ziploc bag out anymore without them thinking it's for them. Okay, so we got that done. We're gonna let that soak all the fats back up. And then down here, let me move this camera down just a little bit. I can't reach. Hang on. Ooh, this might cut my head off, but I want you guys to be able to kind of see. Okay, so I have the bowl that I told you guys that we poured the juices in. I leave the juice in there. I took the chicken out, and I have all the chicken on a cutting board. So I kind of make like a little assembly line with it. I have the chicken here. I just realized this light is like in the way, so I apologize for that in any of the video. Now I know how to do it again. So I take the chicken and I can put it in my food processor and then dump it right into the bowl. And like I said, I leave those juices, any of the fat that was on the chicken, I leave it in there because when the chickens broke up, I can kind of stir that in and it'll soak that back up and get a lot of those juices and stuff in there, and making the chicken a little more juicy for the dogs. So all I do is I keep my knife and tongs, and I'll cut this up in half so it can go through the food processor a little bit easier, and I'll put about 2 chicken breasts in there. I need to get a new food processor because this one's only, I think, about how many cups? Yeah, it's only like a 3-cup one, so I need to get a bigger one. But this chicken is slightly undercooked, which is what you want. Let's pop the lid on. Okay. Then you're just going to dump it into the chicken juice. And just repeat that process until all of the chicken is chopped up. And I just kind of stir it in as I go to make sure that that chicken juice all absorbs from the bowl into the chicken meat. So just continue this step and then we'll come back and show you guys how we do the assembly. All right guys, so I know you really can't see me, but I just want to be able to show you guys what I'm working with here. So hang on a second here. What I like to do is just take a regular cup. I put the Ziploc bag around the edges, like that. This helps to load the bag a lot easier. And then how I start this is I put in my sweet potatoes, the peas, and then, do you guys see who's peeking back here? Come here. Come here, friend. Come here. Come here and say hi to the camera. He says, I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna make my doggy food. Anyway, they're excited because I just teased them and told them the D-I-N-N-E-R word, and they got really excited. So, okay, so I have the cup lined with a Ziploc bag. I add my sweet potatoes, my peas, and then this is the Pinovite that I was telling you guys about. You can get it online. It's different for a different weight of dogs. So they get 1 scoop a day. So since I feed them twice a day, I just do half a scoop. And then I'm gonna do a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of the doggy fish oil in each meal. And then for the puppies, we're gonna do 3 ounces of chicken or beef. And then for Ellie, who is our 85-pound American Bulldog, we're gonna do 5 ounces of meat for her. So the way I do this is I just put just a loose half cup of sweet potatoes. I'll do a half a cup of peas, and I make sure that's pretty full because this is what's gonna help really fill their bellies, make them feel full. And then I go through and I add the Pinovite halfway through. That way it's mixed in the food and doesn't get stuck to the bag or anything. So we have half a scoop of that. Then we're going to add in a tablespoon of the fish oil. And I'm gonna zero out my scale. We're gonna add 3 ounces of the meat. Perfect. All right, so that's meal 1 done. I seal it up. Just give it a little shake to work in those supplements. Then here is our dog food. So I just repeat this process till we get them all done, and I just keep our big dog's meals separate in another container, and I put these guys together. And I freeze these in our, if you have a basement or a garage freezer, I freeze the bags and then just bring them up every couple days, let them thaw, and they're ready to go. So I hope if you guys are excited and wanting to try clean eating basically, or a keto diet for your dogs, you'll try this. Combined total time that we actually, had the oven going and everything is about 2.5 to 3 hours, but actual physical hands-on prep time is really about an hour to an hour and a half. So it goes out really quick and you can get a lot of stuff done around the house while you have stuff in the oven, or like I got all my computer work done. So it's really, not that big of a deal to do this. So don't be intimidated by it, and your dogs will love it. They'll live healthier and you'll know exactly what they're eating. So I will put this recipe up on my website as well, fithomeandhealth.com, with the full list of ingredients that you can go in and print out. And I'll also put the link to the supplements if you're interested in that. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this and learned something new to create for your little furry babies. So thanks, guys.